My main point today for our audience is to try and get some sleep at night, which is contrary to what we actually do. But my point when I say get some sleep is when you lay your head on that pillow at night, it's important to know that you did everything you can possibly do to make your operation as safe as possible, because the results of doing things improperly or unsafe can be a catastrophe. And when I say something like that, you look at the photo that we have up on the screen right now, and this is a photo taken by me, by one of my competitors, the guy in town here. If this was observed by an OSHA inspector, what do you think could happen to your business? Never mind what could happen to this poor guy if he fell out of the bucket of this machine. These machines aren't intended to do this. He has no fall prevention device. This is so absurd it isn't funny, but we see these things every day. We see it in this business, in the green industry. We see it in just about every industry. And many of us, I'm sure, have seen it in the white industry, the snow industry, the de-icing industry, snow removal. And my point that I'd like to make most importantly is this time of the year, even at an earlier stage in the year, you'd really like to get yourself positioned so you know that your trucks are up to snuff. Have an outside contractor come in. It's not expensive. It can cost you under $200 to have someone come in and inspect your trucks, give you a bumper-to-bumper inspection, because you might not realize what is necessary for a commercial vehicle in this country. I live in New Jersey, and there's a heavy presence of motor vehicle inspectors here, state police, different agencies that inspect trucks here. And it might not be as prevalent in other areas of the country where it's very rural and very wide open. When this comes back to bite you, it's when you have an accident. It's when something happens, and it's when a catastrophe actually occurs, and you're under a microscope. If you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, you're going to sleep a whole lot better at night. That's my point. So if you can take your vehicles by your own staff, by a professional staff, whatever measures you have to take, if you could take those measures and implement them and apply them and keep good records, keep records of the work that you've had done to your equipment, when things were inspected, who inspected them, what was inspected on your vehicles, what deficiencies there were on your vehicles, and how they were repaired, the cost. Keep a good record, because if it came down to going to court, you need to present yourself in front of a jury of your peers as someone that was not negligent and maybe just had an accident. There's a big difference between accidents and negligence. Negligence would mean that you knew the situation was present and you did nothing about it. An accident means you did everything you possibly could to prevent an accident, but it still occurred. And if you have perfect records, you present yourself maybe on a witness stand, or your attorney is able to paint a pretty picture of your operation and how you diligently kept records and you did everything you possibly could to prevent that situation. A jury of your peers may have a little sympathy and maybe not drag you through the mud like they would if you were negligent. And that was my job in the past as a fatal accident investigator, and I can tell you that when someone is involved in an accident, you will be dragged through the mud. There are no stones that are unturned. They will look, and I did in the past, we will look at everything possible to try and find out why that accident occurred. Part of the reason for an accident investigation is to find out what occurred. Yes, definitely. Who was at fault? And most important is how it could be prevented in the future. So something like this, it's blatantly obvious how this could be prevented. Somebody in this photo shouldn't be up in a bucket. If you're loading salt, a person should not be up in your bucket. Every safety device should be intact. Every safety device on your truck, you have to think about these things. It's not just about getting out and making money, and this is something that I discussed with Phil and Brian when we were discussing this subject. Our number one goal is to get out as soon as it starts snowing. To get out, we have to make money. We've made a commitment to someone. We have a contract. We need to fulfill that contract. That's all well and good. You have to get there first. It's just like a fire department or an ambulance or an emergency vehicle rushing to an accident to help people in that accident and getting involved in an accident on their way there. Same situation. You may not be involved in an accident, or you may, en route to a snow situation. There are very few snow emergencies. What could be the emergency? A store doesn't open, a facility doesn't open. It might seem like it's an emergency in comparison to you not getting paid or that store not getting open as you made a contract for. What's an emergency is you rushing to a scene and having an accident on the way. Is the jury going to see your expeditious movement to a snow situation as an emergency? Probably not, because whoever's on the other side of that table, the lawyer for them, they're going to paint the picture that you were moving in a haphazard speed or maneuver that caused an accident. So as much as it is important to get to an incident and to get to a scene, to open a facility or get somebody down to whatever conditions you promised in your contract, it's most important for you to get there safely, and while you're there, be safe and get back safe.